What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Legion of Comics. It's Sunday night, so that means this is at week's end, and we're up to episode number 24. I'm joined by a couple of my good friends. I have the comic vet all the way up in Canada, and we have, as always, new guy Ryan is here to keep us straight and make sure we don't just start BSing. Someone has to hold me accountable when my fanboy runs wild.
Somebody's taking liberty with my responsibilities here.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, before we go any farther, I want y'all to take 1 second, hit that thumbs up while you check this out. We're back that quick. If you haven't already, go ahead, like and subscribe to the channel. I know we just did the 500 subscriber giveaway last Wednesday, but I'm less than 25 subscribers away from the next giveaway. I think I'm at like 578 when I started this stream. So yeah, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out on this coming giveaway if you miss out on the last one. I appreciate everybody who supports the channel. And not going any further, how are you guys doing tonight?
I'm good. You know, actually the weather here in Canada, specifically the part of Ontario where I am, is unseasonably warm. So let me just take this off for a sec.
Oh, boom!
Show you guys how handsome.
I was wondering how long it was going to take to get to you.
I didn't think I could get any more handsome, but apparently I can, eh?
Looks like it worked out.
But so thank you, Mark. The package arrived this week. I wanted to make a surprise and say that I got it, and thank you very much for the custom shirt. That'll be debuting tomorrow. I greatly appreciate it. And
how did it
so
look?
Yeah, it's terrific. Yeah, it's terrific. It fits perfectly. You know, shows off a little bit of this, but yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
My wife just took mine out of the first wash cycle it's been through, and it shrunk up perfect, man. Like it looks great now.
Dude, when you pulled yours out, Ryan, you're like, it looks big. I'm like, oh my god, it does look big. But luckily, when you unbox it, you put it on with a shirt on already. I'm like, okay, You just played that off well. I hope no one else noticed that stage trick you just pulled to save face for me. But yeah, I'm glad they came out right, because I have full trust in the person that I went with, and I'm not a fan of Teespring. I mean, what they do is amazing, but their product is vastly inferior to standard T-shirts. Their print. I've gotten a lot of stuff from Teespring and supported other channels on debate shows and stuff like that I enjoy watching, and the prints go away so fast, the shirts shrink up, they just come apart, and I was just very unsatisfied with the price point. So I was able to get all these shirts out to people. I was able to just do them pre-order style, like do them in like just waves, and get them out pretty much $20 shipped or $22 shipped. That's including the shipping. So I'm not trying to make money off people. I've pretty much just got it close to cost as possible, just so people, just to say thank you. You know, if you're going to spend your money on it, I don't need your money. You're spending your money on it. I don't, you know, I just appreciate everybody being willing to want one. I thought that was awesome, and I can't thank everyone enough. But yeah.
Well, thank you. It's a quality shirt.
It is. It is. She did a lot of work on those things.
Yeah. You can tell there's very good quality.
Oh, Austin, I'm glad you just commented that. I have your T-shirt, buddy. I'm busy. I'm hoping to. I was going to message you, man, and let you know I've got one left, and I think the size that you told me. But I'm going to need you to, like, I don't know, I guess message me again on IG so I could double check what size you said. Because it was in a live chat. You mentioned the size, and I wasn't sure. I got like 2 shirts left, and one of them's a small, and I think the other one is your size, Austin. But yeah, let me say hey to the people in the chat real quick before it gets out of hand. We have, as always, Ruby Guzman. What is happening, buddy? Dan Eckerly here. # Legion of Nasty. That was the most entertaining live stream ever that Remy Q Studios was able to put on last Thursday and fill in for Steve. We had a blast. Lucretius, how's it going? A 2-time prize winner here at Legion of Comics. And there he is, Remy Q Studios himself. Dude, he is the man after last Thursday.
Right.
That was amazing.
He actually
He
did a great job with DJ Links last night too.
Yeah, he did. Did you see him take over Steve's studio? Steve wasn't able to do it Thursday because he was kind of injured his back. So Remy Q took over for him, and that's kind of his thing, is taking over people's studios. And you got to go back and just at least watch the opening scene of it. He kills it. But we got Chris from Cardboard Crazies here. Nick's Kicks and Comics. I'm glad you can make it. Thank you so much. We have Slotted Up 503, and not tonight, but a week from today, episode 2 of Rigged will be coming on Slotted Up's channel. I think it's 7 o'clock Eastern time or 7:30, and we'll have none other than DJ Links himself going head-to-head against Remy Q Studios.
Oh, nice.
That first episode was really fun to
Wheelchair
watch.
Superhero 87. It was. Those questions were beast mode.
Loved it though.
Yeah. Soul Twice, the man himself. Soul Twice is an amazing artist you can find on Instagram with the same name. And you'll hear more about his Instagram art tomorrow on my channel when the video uploads in the morning. Let's see who else we have in here. Dales of Suspense. What is up, brother? And he just had a new video drop this evening. Everyone should go check out that. We have Panda Awesome 316. And Awesome Ray is in here. The Martian Manhunter himself. Hopefully we'll be seeing you on HBO Max this coming Thursday. I hope so. Yo, Morgan, super important, bro. Do you like banana pudding because a neighbor gave me some and no one in my house likes it? Dude, bring that to work tomorrow. Most definitely. That's awesome. You could have just texted me, but I appreciate you doing it in the show. That's even better. G'day, Legion. Bumblebee Tuna. What is up, Mike Knight? There's a lot more people in here than I expected. Flash 6792, Robert's in the chat. So I done made it to the bottom of the chat. Oh, dude, that is awesome. Dude, I feel bad too because I seen that video premiere right as I was setting this up, and I was just going to catch the rewind. But I love being able to make the actual premieres when people do that because I know they do it for a reason and they want to be able to participate with their chats and everything as well. So yeah, there we go. There's a confirmation I'm looking for. The franchise will be on my back. I believe it. Now, I don't know if everyone else has seen those covers. Yeah, I've already got rid of them. I had those covers uploaded. Tuesday, the issue of Justice League will be having 3 different Zack Snyder's Justice League variants for it. And then there'll be 3 black and white versions. It's the 1 in 25, 15, 100 variants. But Martian Manhunter did make the cover of one. So I'm assuming that they gave Jim Lee the design for him to actually draw Martian Manhunter to be movie accurate, because it'd be stupid to have 8 other movie accurate characters across 3 covers and him just be a concept.
Would you put it past them though?
No, I wouldn't. And see, that's what I mean when you ground my fanboy. Thank you.
Warner Brothers has a track record, so
they do, and I think that this is going to be. All I can do is be hopeful, but I'm hopeful that this is going to be what breaks that mold. That this is Warner Brothers, like their way of admitting to their mistake and doing the polar opposite of what they've done with multiple Snyder projects inside superhero films and out. What they've done with Suicide Squad, like this is opposite in the spectrum where they just say, you know what, make your movie. Here's $20 million. Fast forward,
80.
All right, make it $70 million.
Yeah.
Fast forward, he's not taking a paycheck on it. $80 million into extra production, and no limits. Like this is, he has real opportunity. And the first early reviews came in today, and that's not saying a lot, but they were positive that people were shocked.
Yeah,
with what
I feel like the other side of that perspective, though, is that Warner Brothers is gaining, like, they know that their bread and butter for their comic book stuff is the core fandom, and the core fandom exists very strong on the internet. And so they knew they kind of have to, this feels like a political play. Like, we need to win the internet back on this. I don't think it's going to be a good thing moving forward. It's very concerning that they gave in, because it means there's a lot of buttons that can be pushed down the road. And I think if they believed that Zack Snyder's version of Justice League was going to resurrect the franchise, and enough public interest to make it commercially viable. Not saying anything about the quality of the movie itself, but for this to be big enough to bring back the franchise as commercially viable, I think they would have given him a paycheck and the money he needed to complete production. I think it was a one or the other, because they don't believe that it will pay off in the long run. I don't think they believe it will reinvigorate the fan base enough.
That's definitely a valid perspective. I think it was just a straight choice on his part to not want to cut anything out. He didn't have to make a 4-hour movie. I mean, that's not the standard film. You know what I mean? There's nothing standard about that.
Oh, no,
longer than
That's gone with the
Tarantino.
wind. Yeah, that's gone with the wind level.
But I mean, my thing is, Warner Brothers, if they really believed that this was going to make Justice League 2 viable commercially, again, the movie might be great, but to make it commercially viable to do his Justice League 2, I think if they saw that on the table, they would take the Snyder Cut as a loss leader. They'd be like, here's all the money you need to make this do what we need Justice League 2 to be, so that we can make all this money back. I think they would have handed him a blank check if they thought they could do that.
Well, it's no secret that Warner Brothers has no faith in the people they hire to create their content. That's no secret. That's the track record. It's not always their content creators. Of course, sometimes Warner Brothers might have made a good call. Who are we to say, because we haven't seen like after they step in, but they have no faith at all in their content creators. Now, what happens when this comes out? Like, this is hypothetical. What if it comes out and it's gangbusters? You know what I mean? What if it comes out and it does make it commercially marketable again? Because I don't know if you saw those actual reviews, but from the first review to the last review, there was a brand new hashtag. The Snyder fans are toxic as we come. The new hashtag is restore the Snyderverse. Which they don't have.
Yeah,
to.
I saw that.
You don't have to make a huge movement. You can just move forward appropriately.
I think if this becomes successful and it's positive across all levels, I think you're going to see the groundswell for the original Suicide Squad to get its big push. Because I see it now and then online. You know, they're talking about the Suicide Squad that got released is almost a totally different, vision that was actually filmed, and the director had to keep going back and making changes. But, if it's successful, I think you're going to see a big push for that. And you're going to probably see a big push for positive news about Henry Cavill. Like, I think he's the one that's being left out in the dark here. Like, we all know what's up with Affleck, Gal Gadot, but the one that no one seems to have any idea about, and the one that keeps getting pushed to the sidelines is Henry Cavill. Even though he, keeps saying that the cape is in his closet, with J.J. Abrams taking over the Superman franchise, or the next Superman film at least, you keep hearing the idea of a recast, whether it's Kal-El or whether it's going to be,
Calvin,
an African American,
Val-Zod.
right? A few different. There's a potential for how many different Superman we could have, but again, for me, they got to do the right thing and give us Man of Steel 2.
Like Mike said best right here. In this day and age, Henry is Superman.
Yeah.
Like, anybody who didn't grow up watching the Christopher Reeves movies, which is a ton of people that spend their hard-earned money at cinemas, Henry Cavill is Superman, and they got to get on that, right?
Right. I thought they did a good job with Brendan Routh's casting. He just had a crap script, but then when they decided to roll the dice again and recast Superman, and they went and got Henry Cavill, who was up apparently for the original Superman Returns casting, and lost out to Brandon Routh, they got it right. And now they're, for whatever reason, I don't know why they don't have faith in him as an actor, or if it's just,
I think it's they don't have faith
to
in
Zack Snyder
Superman making money.
But yeah, it's time and time again. How many times have we said, give him a good writer, whether it's film or this medium that we're talking about faithfully all the time in comic books? Superman hasn't had a good writer in how long?
Since Richard Donner.
Right.
Yeah. Since Richard Donner.
Right.
Okay, so the 4-hour thing. What are your thoughts on that? I do want to know about that.
All right, so I'm a movie head. Like on the other side of this camera, there's a vast library of Blu-rays, DVDs. Y'all been on here when I'm just reaching down behind me, pulling out collector discs, and obscure stuff. I ran a movie store for 4 years before I do what I do now. So I like it just because every movie in the world is not 4 hours. When you're going to create content that is right up my alley, superhero content, which is normally like pulling from source material and stuff, and the more time you give it, the better it can be. I mean, sitting in a theater might become troublesome at times because you can't pause it. You got it. You know what I mean? But in this situation, this specific situation, this might be a one-off to what originally was a 2-part film. Give me 6 hours. Give me everything you got from this story that we might not ever revisit. But moving forward, keep it a cool, solid 3 hours for everybody. You know what I mean?
I think if it wasn't going to be released on this particular medium, there's no way it would be 4 hours in the theaters. Like, let's be honest, Quentin Tarantino doesn't even get 4 hours, and he's a fantastic scriptwriter and a very good director as well. And like they had to cut Kill Bill in half that just to get around that whole thing.
Yeah, that dude could write 4 hours of paint drying, and I would be there for it. That's a whole other level there.
And have Christoph Waltz talking about it. I'm there.
Done.
Like he's the only person who can make an action movie with machine gun dialogue. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's fire, dude.
But to answer your question, until I actually sit down and deal with the runtime in real time, I can't make a comment about it. But to me, it just seems like, okay, he's throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at this. The only thing that we're not going to get are the outtakes as a part of this movie. So every little nugget that hit the cutting room floor, it's now
like there is
into this film.
Outtakes.
So we're going to get it all. Yeah. The only thing we're not getting is the outtakes. And that might be on the DVD when it's released, at Christmas time.
You know what time it is? We need to acknowledge the elephant in the room, and it's how glorious that bed looks back there. Now,
I mean, for me, the Snyderverse, this is definitely an anomaly. You are not going to see this become a standard thing. We even know that the Snyder Cut has chapter markers in it, so we're getting some kind of Tarantino-esque storytelling there anyway. But no, this is an anomaly. If this had been planned when streaming services were at this point, it would have been a 6-part series, and they would have ordered 6 episodes, and they would have scripted 6 episodes.
Well, they said that at this point in the game, they couldn't get past all the legal tape with chaptering it out, so they're just releasing it. It wasn't a big conspiracy or anything like that. They were going to do it in chapters just because of the length and for viewing purposes, but they couldn't get it out, get through all the legal ramifications of doing that fast. So they're getting it out to us on time. We've waited long enough. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Dude, every day.
Afterwards, let's talk about Black Widow.
Afterwards, we'll talk Falcon Winter Soldier. Disney Plus. Yeah. I don't even want them to release Black Widow on there because I don't want to spend $30 to watch it, because I will. I'm not going to wait. You know what I mean? Because I won't. And for no other reason, not because I'm so hyped that I got to see it. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. It looks awesome. But I'm going to want to discuss it with people. I'm going to want to, you know what I mean? And I'm like, man, I'm on YouTube trying to put content out there and enjoy discussion with all these people. How am I going to sit out content? You know what I mean?
Do you think Marvel sat back and watched what happened at Christmas time with Wonder Woman 84 and decided, you know what? Nope, we're not going down this path.
No, they shot their own foot off of Mulan. They lost millions and millions of dollars with Mulan.
I was going to say, they just did Raya and the Last Dragon the same way. If they were going to course correct and go free like Wonder Woman was, they would have done it with Raya, because that movie's not going to draw enough money to make it worth $30.
I don't think it ever was. I mean, it looks fantastic.
Probably not, but
me and my wife are counting down days, so it's free.
Say WandaVision was so hot that I really think anyone that's got any kind of twinkle in their eye about the MCU would have no problem dropping $30 or $25-$30 on Black Widow.
It's more viable, but not for Black Widow.
Yeah,
she's
like
still
they might
a B name in most households.
And I think still lose their foot on it. It doesn't matter what movie you drop that you spent that kind of money on. because they didn't spend like COVID watch our funds money on this. They spent pre-COVID throw it all in the kitchen sink into this movie money on it. So they
Sky's the
no matter
limit.
what no matter what MCU style movie they make, if it's on par with their other stuff, they're going to lose both their feet releasing it on a streaming service.
Yeah.
I personally, I think it'll probably be in somewhere in the neighborhood of what the Ant-Man films have done, somewhere between $300 and $500 million. It's not gonna like, let's be honest, it ain't gonna blow things out of the water.
What do you think about
that was pretty good.
Yeah. What about the MCU drought that everyone's had? Do you think that it'll get an unusual uptick based on that? Like, they're going from Endgame to Spider-Man to this.
Yeah.
So it's been a long
It'll
wait.
be interesting because, like, my son, he's into the MCU, but he did not express even like the slightest bit of interest in WandaVision. Like, he didn't even care to look over whenever it was playing in the background. So, for me, I'm expecting to see him be really interested in watching Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I do think that will have a different kind of effect. I also think that WandaVision exposed how truly toxic the MCU fandom can become, and I want to see how toxic the fandom becomes around Falcon and Winter Soldier. Because was it a one-off thing because of how deep WandaVision was trying to go into like MCU tying up loose ends kind of stuff? Is that why it got so toxic? Or is this going to be toxicity just from a weekly schedule? Like, are people going to go this crazy waiting each week for Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I think WandaVision was frustrating because no one knew what was going on for the first 3 or 4 episodes until we saw, the people returning from the blip, which I thought was probably one of the best episodes they had for the entire season. But I think everything that WandaVision was, Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be completely the opposite. I think we're going to have characters that most people who are into comic books recognize. I think we're going to have the return of Batroc the Leaper. It's not just going to be more Zemo. I think we're going to get some of those other characters that we had small cameos of return, and it's going to be action packed. It's not going to be, someone dealing with, such severe loss and the mental health ramifications of it. This is going to be straight in your face, punch them out, shoot them up, live action. And I think that's what everyone's just starving for. Like, hopefully it's a lot more like Captain America: The Winter Soldier than what WandaVision was.
I think WandaVision fell in this weird gray area. So, like, if you were new to the character, like you mentioned, you were kind of lost to everything for a really long time into the show. You're just sitting there, you're not on board with the show. You're watching the whole thing space cadetted, wondering why don't I know what's going on? And if you are familiar with these characters, it's the polar opposite. You're watching the show with 100% knowledge and certainty of what's going on, and you're waiting for the ball to drop that never drops.
Right. We're all waiting for that No More Mutants moment, right? Like for her to expose her how powerful she actually was.
All the what are some of the, like, it was Mephisto that was rumored, Chthon was rumored. You had the Quicksilver thing that they dropped the ball on and became a major plot hole, pretty much the only major plot hole. You had Photon, which I thought that they were kind of working a cool angle there, but then that last episode, everything just kind of went weird. Like, she all of a sudden knows how to use her powers. Darcy just rams the dude at the last minute. Enjoy your time in jail, and it just got weird at the end, man. Like, all of a sudden, Wanda knows how to do ruins, even though it was only mentioned to her one time. And someone tried to mention to me that she's just kind of a natural with her powers, that they just come to her, but she's kind of like a 30-something-year-old, and they never came to her before. She kind of blew up a bunch of people in Africa on accident because they didn't come to her then. Like, it's kind of the crux of her character. They don't come to her.
If they turn her into a villain, which I kind of hope they do, then I don't think it's all for loss. But as of right now, I don't have such a sour taste in my mouth about it. I like the fact that they brought Vision back. Hopefully they get that character right, because the first time around, let's be honest, Vision was not used properly at all. Anyone who read West Coast Avengers growing up or whatever understands that what they did was meh. Other than the fact they played up the love story a little bit, and even that was kind of rushed, with Endgame and the Infinity War. But it's the first time we had it in God knows how many months. I think everyone was just so starved for it, and then that that knuckleball came curving down for the first 2 episodes, and no one had any idea how to swing at that ball, and a lot of people got soured on it. But like I said, the episode where everyone blipped back, that's the one that for me I thought was a springboard, and that's when it really cued me in.
If you guys listen to the podcast real quick, check out the Sealess Villains podcast when y'all get a chance. They do a lot of great interviews and stuff with some major talent.
Great episode this morning.
Yeah, I don't think they've done a bad episode yet. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep listening and see if they do, though. One day, maybe. But so far, they're all just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I'm looking for in Falcon and Winter Soldier is something that actually does more for the universe than for, like, anything specific. Like, I would like to see them more or less, like, plant this idea that there's, like, these bases of operations everywhere. And so, like, you know, Falcon and Winter Soldier are, like, I don't know, like Hawaii Five-0 or NCIS or something. Like, they kind of show up and handle these missions, but there's these bases everywhere, you know? And because to me, that would also help ground WandaVision a little more, because, like, you have 2 Avengers taking over this small town. Like, why would none of the other Avengers ever show up? Why would this never be a big deal, you know? But I think if Falcon and Winter Soldier, like, can establish that there's multiple bases of operation for S.H.I.E.L.D. and they're like this global network or something, that could explain, like, well, we didn't call in the Avengers yet because, like, this little base, you know, was operating out of here, and that was kind of their job to handle. We don't call them in immediately. But as it stands, like, I don't understand how none of the other Avengers, like, picked up that there's something weird that 2 of our members have disappeared again.
Like, I think it was someone that mentioned it to me that there's no way Wanda's throwing all this chaos magic around and Strange is not showing up instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly. Just Sling Ring portal should have opened.
Right.
Yeah, immediately. And, like, you're coming with me back to New York. I kind of hope they talk about what happens immediately after the events of Endgame, where their base in upstate New York just gets annihilated. So you were talking about, let's talk about bases, whatever. Like, yeah, where did everyone go? We know what happened to Iron Man. We know what happened to Cap. But where did everyone go? Did Ant-Man go back over to the West Coast? Is Hawkeye in Middle America now? Like, give us a little bit of something somewhere. And but yeah,
again,
to be honest, I really hope these two actors have great chemistry, the way that they did in Civil War.
Yeah. Well, and what I need in this series is definitely a turn from Bucky. Like, I get that, like, your life is kind of messed up and stuff, but, like, you have some of the coolest action scenes in the MCU, and then you are the most dreary, boring person outside of combat. Like, I need a character turn from that guy. Like, give me a happy Bucky. Give me somebody who, like, has went through it and is getting over it now, you know?
Please.
I'm kind of tired of, like, all the, like, MCU characters all are struggling from PTSD for something, you know? Like, let's diversify the mental issues.
It's been played out. It's like Iron Man 3 should have been the first time they tackled it and the last time they tackled it. I get that they wanted to explore it a little bit with Wanda, and, you know, everything she touches just blows up in her face, literally. But, like, yeah, let's be honest, this is basically going to be a buddy cop kind of show. So, but
I'd rather see a Booster and Blue Beetle buddy cop show.
Oh, that'd be so good.
That's their dynamic. That's their dynamic. Yeah. But we are getting a Blue Beetle movie. That's awesome.
And how much does it suck to, like, have to sit back and watch Marvel do all of your stuff better, you know? Like, they could have done a Static Shock movie, like, years ago and been ahead of Miles, but they let Marvel go ahead and, like, put Miles out there, you know? They could do a great Blue Beetle, you know, Booster Gold buddy cop comedy, but instead they're going to let Marvel do it first. Like, they're constantly letting Marvel do everything they're good at first.
The Eternals is coming out, but the New Gods is far superior mythology. Like, it's it pales in comparison. Like absolutely.
Yeah.
But we are getting a taste of the New Gods come Thursday.
Yeah. But let's be honest, will it even be 10 minutes runtime? Like, will we get even more than 10 minutes?
I was thinking the same thing. Did you watch the trailer?
The trailer dropped, and I was just like, oh my God, we're really going to get Darkseid.
They showed Omega Beams.
Yeah.
They showed Darkseid and Omega Beams flying. I'm like, oh my God. Please give Scott free cameo. Please give Scott free cameo. Like, just have Mr. Miracle in there for 1 second. That's all I need. Like, I think you got to think, but this is Zack Snyder, so everything that he's showing us, it's stuff that we know is in there. We haven't even seen what, like, stuff that we're, you know what I mean? There's tons of stuff that we're not expecting yet. 4 hours.
The known knowns and the unknowns and
right.
the unknown
And
unknowns.
the known unknown knowns.
Right. It's like what Ryan said. They're just sitting back and watching it happen. And now Miles, whose character is not even 15 years old, is now a household name.
Yeah.
Like in a span of 15 years, he's a household name.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what my kids know. Like that's what all the people watching this channel right now need to understand is like Miles is not for us. It's my kids.
Dude,
like,
I loved it. I loved it.
They're my 3-year-old all the way up to my 12-year-old. Like they love Miles because of that movie, and that's what they're going to be looking for in the MCU, not Peter. Like Miles is for them, not for us.
It's like Wally is for me. You know what I mean? That's who I grew up on. Like Barry is Barry, but he pales in comparison to me to Wally.
For some reason, I thought you actually meant Wall-E.
No, I'm an Eevee. I'm an Eevee fan. We do love that movie.
I'm just playing with you.
Now, Martian Manhunter, you referring to all the stuff that they announced? What was it, Ryan? Friday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Friday that we talked about it. So,
just to keep it a kind of a short, simple answer for me, I think that Suicide Squad would be next up on my hit list of what I'm most excited about because I think that's the next thing coming.
I think that's going to be the most important.
Yeah,
I think
it's going to be a big.
We've heard rumors. You know, Zack Snyder was supposed to be the Kevin Feige, but we've heard rumors that that's part of the reason that James Gunn is going to do Guardians 3, but he's not going to move back over to Marvel. He's going to be sticking with DC, is because they're trying to tap him as an architect as well. And so I think the Suicide Squad is going to be a pivotal movie to prove that he can do what he can deliver what they want and that he can deliver to DC fans. And it's going to probably be the first seed of whatever his architecture will be, assuming that those rumors are true.
To answer Martian Manhunter's question, for me, it's Justice League Dark. I don't know how far out we are from Justice League Dark, but God, I hope we get some sort of Swamp Thing in that, and Detective Monkey, and like let's just do it up. Everyone that's on the squad right now, give us all of it, man.
That would be awesome, and would have been an easy answer as well. But me and Ryan talked about this on his channel Friday. It wasn't on the list. Now I don't know. That doesn't mean that it was canned, but we talked about it like what, and we looked like twice. Like Justice League Dark isn't on here. What happened to it?
On there?
Yeah, because well,
is the Green Lantern Corps still there?
Yes,
Green Lantern.
Okay,
but it doesn't say
it's not the Green Lantern Corps. Okay,
I'm going. I was like leaning heavy into JLG because I was hoping that Etrigan's going to be in it because that's the dude. Like you bring him in.
That is like we have no context for that card because there's shows that already exist on that card. And there's shows that we know are going to exist and movies that we know are going to exist, but we don't have a timeline for. But then there's other stuff that like they've seemed very confident that they're working on Justice League Dark for HBO Max, and that wasn't on the list, you know? So it's really hard to tell. There's no real context for what exactly all the things listed on that card were for.
To answer that, I thought Zack Snyder was definitely going his own way. I thought that he kind of shifted the whole Kal-El and Jonathan Kent and Jor-El storyline perfectly and played it up well in the Man of Steel. Gave us the whole ending of the Man of Steel, which separated Superman fans down the middle, and then Batman versus Superman. The only thing that was commonplace between every other movie that's been done about Batman was the retelling of the origin. And I don't think Zack Snyder is like anything like Kevin Feige that way. He does get to write his own stuff, and Feige is just, the mastermind behind it all.
Despite how good or bad Snyder was, it just didn't appeal to enough people to pull off what Feige did.
Commercially viable.
Yeah. That's it.
That's like a key phrase to all of what's going on with the WB stuff is like they're not necessarily making bad content. They're just not making something that appeals to the amount of people it needs to appeal to afford the budget that they've poured into it. When you look at how much money they've poured into Justice League already, there's no way they can ever make it back. Like, they're well beyond Avengers Endgame at this point, you know? The difference being Endgame put butts in the seats, you know? That's where they make the money back.
And not only that, the Marvel movies, they do have that slight introduction and slight appeal to, you know, the under 10 audience. Like, you can feel comfortable bringing your kids there. I don't know how comfortable you guys would be if your children were under 10, bringing them to see Man of Steel. And and let's be honest, the toys and the collectible side of these films pay for a lot of the budget, right?
Yeah.
And I can't remember seeing Man of Steel toys gun for, you know, a 7 and 8 year old boy or girl versus, you know,
adults.
Far From Home, you know, like the Spider-Man toys that come out for Far From Home. And that's the only thing to me that stands out at, like, the white elephant in the room is the DC stuff. They haven't merchandised properly versus how Marvel has with their titles.
Mm-hmm.
Films, that is.
Zatanna was on the announcement for their investor stuff. Zatanna and Black Canary. Yeah. I don't know if those two were involved in a project together. And just kind of responding to what you said about how comfortable you would be taking your under 10-year-old kid to see Man of Steel. My daughter's 13 right now. I forget what year Man of Steel came out in, but she was like 8 or 9, probably around there. We went to the midnight premiere and she sat in my lap for the whole thing. Like, it was an amazing experience. And I remember her reaction at the very end of it with a big snap. It caught her off guard. It caught me off guard. I almost threw her. Like, it was a dangerous place for her to be. I was not expecting that.
He had it coming though.
Yeah.
So, was there any news about Constantine then?
They're saying that they said Constantine with Zatanna. But according to the card, again, there's no context to the card, but the card just listed it as Zatanna and Black Canary, right?
Yes.
So that really doesn't confirm, unless there was other news somewhere else about Constantine. But
no, I know
like I was saying, I would like to see. Yeah, they've been casting a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be honest, I don't know. Like, I would be really interested in Swamp Thing season 2 and attach Constantine to that, and maybe the Zatanna stuff can tie into that, and we can get to a Justice League Dark, because that's really what I'm waiting on from Warner Brothers. Like, give me that and James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, and like, I'm in.
That's going to be a bloodbath. Let's be honest. Yeah,
that would be a smart move for them, just to kind of stick with the properties that don't too heavily resemble what's already happening in Marvel, just to establish yourself with that. Like, Marvel's not hitting on the horror stuff, and you can take the Justice League Dark down that avenue really quick and just start hitting the magical characters they have over there, because there's a big horror aspect to it. The Demon, Swamp Thing.
It's coming though. With Marvel, it's coming. They're saying the Multiverse of Madness is going to be somewhat in that type of genre. Then we're going to get Blade. Like, they're not going to shy away from it, so the race is on.
Yeah, but we also saw the news with Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds too, so it's hard to tell where Marvel and Disney are exactly going to land on all this kind of stuff at this point, you know? Like, they say we want to do rated R, but then there's some issues between the creative team and the production company. So what does that tell you? They're okay with rated R as long as they have control over how and when it is rated R, you know? And that's concerning. How far are they going to go into horror, knowing that, like, that can pick up an R rating, you know, if you lean too much into it?
Toys sell.
Toy selling is why we got Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
That's a weird balancing point too, is if you're wanting to make a movie that can market to kids, and because they make a lot of money outside of theaters with movies, you know, with the merchandising and stuff. But the end result of following that pattern is Batman and Robin, where the toy company actually had creative control of the actual movie, because they wanted to be able to design toys based off of it, and they wanted the toys, people to come out of the movie and see that actually on the shelf and stuff.
Well, and I think you know, the Snyderverse has leaned into this all wrong. Warner Brothers does put like kids Batman toys out for this stuff. Like, no, like there are 30-year-old nerds out there that are willing to throw entire paychecks at statues. Like, why would you not scrap kids marketing with this property altogether? Just do the Snyderverse like dark and gritty, make all the toys, like make a deal with McFarlane Toys and just put out like some crazy expensive statues for a bunch of 30 to 40-year-old nerds to buy up, and that would support the movie too, you know?
Well, you know, that's
Why
funny you
why not
mentioned
go
that
that
because
route?
it hasn't been a year since DC contracted with McFarlane, and they started pumping out some awesome
Yep.
figure lines that you're seeing all over the place. And they're hitting the death metal stuff now. They're hitting all kinds of stuff, and people are buying them up. They're amazing. They're great figures.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You just
think
gotta
DC
draw
and
the
Warner
interest in.
Brothers, yeah, they could develop a really strong fan base with people older, you know, if they would lean into the older a little bit more. Stop trying to be all ages and like look at what Marvel does well and do all the things that they don't do well. Do those things well, you know? That's your market. You're picking up the scraps. So you need to do a Justice League movie first and then do the movies for individuals that are successful from that. You can't build up to Justice League, you know? Like you need to flip the Marvel formula and do what they don't do well, or else you're just always going to be in their footsteps, you know?
Now, I'm not going to try to get myself too hopeful about the early reviews. I just wanted to bring light to them that they are positive. No one's crapping on them, and people are not shy about crapping on Zack Snyder movies out the gate normally if they have
Yeah.
problems with them. But Wonder Woman 84 got amazing early reviews. This is the hope that everyone was looking for during these times of crisis. And it made me want to go to the mall with no mask on. I'm like, this movie's horrible.
Savage.
No, it really wasn't that bad. I enjoyed watching it. I definitely recognize it as a subpar Wonder Woman movie, but I enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
watching it all the time. I think they just went wrong with the story, went a little too campy into the love stuff, and they leaned way too heavily into the 80s. The 80s was not the setting of the movie, it was an actual character in the movie, and that was a little weird.
Yeah. I think it would have been better if they had just done one storyline instead of three.
Yeah.
We did not need all of that. It was very Snydery. I'll give them that. It didn't look like Snyder, but it definitely felt like him.
I don't think it was I don't think it was as pretty as what Snyder does.
No.
Oh no, yeah.
Dude, he like Ryan, you've mentioned this. The dude is like one of the best photographers out there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. The dude knows how to establish a shot. Like it's incredible what he puts on screen. It looks beautiful. It's just he does the Diana and Trevor storyline and the Cheetah and Diana storyline and the Maxwell Lord and Diana storyline and forgets how to connect Diana in all three of those. That's how Snyder puts his storylines together for me.
We'll find out Thursday.
Yeah, luckily for me, I'm not well versed in literature as you are, so I'm able to.
It's just too much, man. Nothing ever comes together. It drives me crazy.
Now, have you? Honest question: have you primed yourself for Thursday yet, Ryan? Have you done the deed of going back and actually watching the recommended watch list?
No, and I mean honestly, I probably will this week. And
I know finding time is a chore, in all honesty.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't know how focused I'll be. It'll probably be on in the background, and I'll probably play each of them like 6 times and have like a decent vibe going into it. But I don't know that I'm just gonna sit down and straight watch them.
I'm going out of my way, Steve, and my wife is as well, and we'll have my dad over here. That we're going to be firing up the movie about 3:30, 4 o'clock at the latest. So I'll be on your chat, but don't expect me to talk about anything else. If you want me to say a couple nice things about Firepower, I'll say a couple nice things about Firepower, then get right back on the topic at hand. Because the cool thing about the Thursday night review show is it is a spoiler show as well. So I'm going to feel right at home having just watched that movie. And just, I expect views to be really low on next Saturday or next Sunday's show as well, because it's just going to say spoiler all around it. Justice League spoilers. So it's going to take people some time to watch this. Some people don't have HBO Max yet. Some people would be planning on catching a free version somewhere, finding 4 hours, all that. What is going on off-world, Adam? How are you? But I'm super excited for it. Now, real quick, I want to backtrack because we've been on the movie kick for about 45 minutes here, which is absolutely necessary. There's stuff to talk about. There's some big stuff coming this week between tonight and episode 25. 25 is always a big milestone in comic books when they hit that 25th episode. Just by sheer chance and fate, the 25th episode about weeks in will be the Snyder Cut review. Like, that's pretty cool, like how that worked out.
That's destiny.
Meant to be. Yeah, but you mentioned Falcon and Winter Soldier, staying on top of that. Baron Zemo is coming in as the villain. And Ryan, we talked about how the comics are always great about kind of bringing a villain to the forefront right when it's time for them to do something big in film and screen. And on that topic, who read this little gem? This is Nonstop Spider-Man. And I wasn't necessarily planning on reading this or picking it up. I heard mixed reviews about it. I heard that it was just the description of it. I likened it to sound like Jason Statham's Crank, which they referred to in the writer's notes in the back. They actually said that they wanted it to be like Crank. I'm like, yes.
Nailed it.
But there's an Alex Ross cover, so I'm like, dude, I'm going to get it. I'm not going to regret buying an Alex Ross cover to try out a Spidey title.
Yeah, I bought them all.
Did you?
Big surprise. The guy, that loves the wall crawler. But I'll be honest. So I read both of these, and I'll be honest, this one was better.
I bet, because this was a dumpster fire.
This, to me, it should have, at least with issue 1. By the way, like, how great is Finch's work on this particular cover?
Don't open it though. Don't open it.
Yeah, but I love Finch's stuff. They at least with issue 1, they should have literally made it nonstop. I thought the book actually wasn't easy to read. Like with the paneling setup, it was a little bit of a mess. It went we did time jumps here and a couple times, I believe. There was a time jump, and I don't think that's Chris Bocciolo. I know I've heard a few different pronunciations of the artist's name. I don't think that's his best work. And with an issue 1, man, you want to bring that A game, because we're talking a franchise here with Spider-Man. And,
I want to show this page, but I'm afraid I need to put up like a seizure warning.
Yeah. So it lived up to the storyline there that it's nonstop, but which way are you supposed to be reading here, right? Like to me, you really have to read the book 2 times for sure. And like I said, I thought the plot was kind of meh. This week, ASM, and I've been a heavy critic of Nick Spencer over the last few books that he's been doing on the ASM. To answer, I wouldn't say that Nonstop is trash. To me, it's definitely going to be a book that's now on my own hot seat. Am I going to pick up issue 2? Like, we'll see. The cover better sell me. But this I thought was a great starting on point, and
what about
much
the back
better.
of it? What about the back of it? They did have a backup story that leads you into the actual story.
But again, it's issue 1. It's issue 1, and this book is we've been talking about this book since pre-COVID. Like a year, we've been talking about this.
So
I've seen Finch's work for at least 8 months. I've seen this for a long time. Like they even had to recast the freaking artist in it. Like it was. So
they kind of honey-dicked us is what they did. I don't know
for the fact that I spent like $30 Canadian, which is like $100 US on these books. I was a little soured about it, and I really struggled with that being my hot pick. By the way, that's a plug for this last week. But I'm glad I went with the new costume. I'm sorry, I know most people don't like the new costume, but this story is actually a great hopping on point. And I'm not going to sell this book. I'm not that guy. But yeah, like if you want to compare the two, it's not even close. ASM, Nick Spencer killed Joe Kelly.
They definitely honey-dicked us in this. The whole story is just him jumping out of a window, and you don't know why he was there yet.
And it's 90s type, but we got a younger Peter again. Like he's not even at the same age point as what he is in ASM.
No, he's a kid again. It's weird, but yeah. So the nonstop part that's happening in one timeline, but like you said, they're flashing back to the story where he's sitting at a wake, which is the polar opposite of nonstop.
Yeah,
It's a funeral.
Yeah,
that's the opposite of he's forever
with college buddies. Like
yeah.
Come on, yeah.
You go from nonstop to forever stop, and then like they're talking about how this good kid overdosed on some new drug and everything. It's so out of character for him. So Peter's going to go investigate it, and there's other stuff going on that blah blah blah. But it keeps hopping to the action, and half of the book is the actual story. Well, about 2/3 of it. Then the back, the art changes. The art does get really good toward the back. The coloring is a little digital looking, but it looked really good all the same. But you get Baron Zemo just killing a bunch of Hydra people, like taking back over Hydra, which was really cool. But
so they set it up good for issue 2, but issue 1 should have been at least an 8.5 or 9 out of 10, and I think it's barely a 6. And that's just me being generous, being a hardcore Spider-Man fan. Like I said, ASM, for those who picked up both books, would probably agree with me. The ASM 61, even though it's the beginning of a new story arc, it's just better storytelling.
Canadian 6 is like
so
an American 4.
Epilogue set up issue 2. Yeah, exactly. So the epilogue set up issue 2 really good, but the main story set up not by.
I'm glad you picked that up, by the way.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, 30 Canadians, like $10. Yes. Yeah. I was just waiting. I was hoping to see everyone was paying attention. I got to throw a curveball out there somehow. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed this. I didn't mind the new suit, but I like the fact that they're tying the suit into the storyline. It's just like, oh, now Peter's just crafted a new suit. No, it's the whole part that Peter now is working for J. Jonah Jameson, who knows that he is Spider-Man now, and he's now working for a social media company, and they're tying the suit into that part of it. So you guys have
Is there
to
a reason why it
to
looks
know that
kind
part.
of like it matches Boomerang's color scheme?
I
didn't know if that was in the story. I'm not reading it.
No. Not that I noticed, but no.
Yeah, good call, Steve. Good call.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
I got an Alex Ross cover
we got new characters in it, so you maybe want to pick it up for spec value, but that's about it.
I'll give mine away. And at 600, it'll be part of the giveaway. It's a number 1 of a book, so it'll go good with the other stuff I picked up this week.
But yeah,
Children of the Atom. I'm gonna be giving those away.
That was actually a really good book too.
Chris, these came out this week. I'm still on board with you, buddy.
I called that one months ago.
Dude, you caught it before the first one released. As soon as they showed it, dude, they're going to do about every color you can imagine for Spider-Man, and they're going to start doing other characters as soon as they get a chance. You'll see that on all over the place. I said, dude, awesome. And we get our first character. Well, no, we already have Venom and Carnage, but those are kind of givens because they're still Spider-Man. But we're outside of Spider-Man characters as of FOC of this past week with Avengers: Curse of the Man-Thing.
Right, which it actually looks fantastic in my opinion. It does, and I'm not saying that because I called it, but but there's been some other ones too. There's been some independents. There's been like a Baby Yoda and a Boba Fett knockoff. The one thing that I did call that hasn't happened yet is like Todd McFarlane doing an homage to it with Spawn just kind of in chains, but
that'd
give it time. Cool. Give it time. You know, Todd.
Oh yeah, that's definitely on his desk.
It's
a sticky note in the corner right now. He's looking at it every day. Like,
So, Todd, if you ever see this, make sure that you throw my name in your book. Then.
Yeah, and I do want to say I don't buy 2 copies of books to spec on. That's just not how I collect. But these I'll be giving back out to the community. And I buy 2 copies of these because I do keep one for myself. But when we get to a hefty collection of these, I'm going to throw them and include them in a giveaway. And maybe, depending on how long it takes, when I get to 1,000, I'll have them graded to give away because I've got the white one, the red one. Here's the blue one. I have the Carnage ones on the way, the Man-Thing on the way. Don't have the Venom one because I just wasn't paying attention to them that closely. I didn't realize that wasn't going on a shelf. It was it was a retailer variant, but I'll hopefully have graded ones to give away for everybody. But I think they're awesome.
But Marvel's gonna milk the crap right out of that. Like Like as soon as I saw it, I'm like, yeah, they're totally gonna milk it. We're probably even gonna get like the Human Torch, which is small flames. That's like, yeah, they're gonna milk the crap right out of that. And so be it, because it's incredibly original.
Yeah. Well, let's jump over to the DC Frontier since you just mentioned it. Somebody asked earlier if the Spectre is still hanging around in the weeds. He was in last week's DC's Infinite Frontier. He was the this is just a classic kind of plot introduction across the board where you kind of just bounce around to see where every character is. And you have to have a story to take you. So it was the Spectre taking Wonder Woman through the multiverse and then just kind of dialoguing about the big characters that were out there. But he meets his demise at the end because with this unrestricted omniverse that DC has now, Darkseid is able to have reached his actual original powerful form, because they've touched on it in like the New 52 era when the Darkseid that you see that you actually punch is just an avatar of Darkseid. Well, apparently we're getting like the OG Darkseid now, and he just kind of just walked up and killed the quintessence, like Phantom Stranger, High Father, Spectre. He literally just effortlessly killed them all at one time. Just boom, took them out. So it's Infinite Frontier has been good so far. We're only like 2 weeks in, so we're only one issue per title in. We haven't had a repeat title yet, but so far, you got what you expect out of Batman so far. It was an introduction book after an introduction already happened in Infinite Frontier, but he's doing a lot in there. Superman was solid. Superman was solid. We have Philip Kennedy Johnson over there now, and I think they're gearing up for. Oh, that was this week. Yes, I think they're gearing up for a potential another death of Superman because Jonathan's back from the Legion of Superheroes, and he just got done like spending time in the future, kind of training and everything. And I think they might be wanting to front run some of these secondary characters that have been introduced lately. And to do that, you kind of got to get Superman out of the way. So the story that this starts off in is the story that Jonathan knows is the actual death of his father. And it's a well told story. They lean heavily into like what's it like to look at your dad from a child's like eyes, how you think they're invincible, and that makes you fearless. But then all of a sudden you realize they're not, how that affects you, knowing that they're going to die or knowing that they're not invincible. It was a powerful story where the actual action was just a backdrop. It was good.
Well said. Yeah.
The new anthology for Batman. That's another new one from Infinite Frontier. They're doing anthologies now. Ryan, the guy who announced this early.
I don't know. Outlaw. Red Hood and the Zdarsky story. Like that's what everybody was waiting to see, right? How is he going to handle writing a DC in the DC universe and everything? And I really liked it. I thought the Red Hood story was awesome.
I'll be honest, I have a Chip Zdarsky story because
Cool.
he's from whereabouts I am in Ontario, and he was doing an autograph signing at a public library. So he had just finished doing that Howard the Duck thing, and he was now moving into Spider-Man. And someone asked him about DC, and he jokingly said, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to write about a 1%er running around beating up poor people." So I thought that was just him saying there's no way he's ever going to go to DC, and now he's tackling the Red Hood. And from everything that I've heard, I haven't read that story myself, that it was actually very well done. But everything Zdarsky, pardon me, is touching lately is turning to gold for him, like especially the Daredevil stuff. Not to keep switching it back to Marvel.
No, you're fine.
Yeah,
Did you see the announcement for the next
never.
Zdarsky Spider-Man book? I'm seeing ads for it. Did you know he did Spider-Man Life Story and like changed my life? Is it in this crappy book? It's a new. It's like what if? God, what is it called? I don't even see the ad for it anymore.
Oh yeah, I saw the ad for that. What is it called?
Yeah, there it is. Spider-Man Spider's Shadow.
Oh yeah, what if he became Venom?
Yeah.
Chip Zdarsky's going to go at it again with a miniseries.
Yeah.
I'll be picking that up. But there's more characters in that anthology as well.
I've never read any Zdarsky, but I really liked what he delivered here, and it's very apparent to me how good he would be at like Spider-Man and Daredevil and those kinds of characters, because the internal dialogue that Red Hood has in this is just like, he there's something about, like, he has the quippiness like Spider-Man, but like to me he kind of was like somewhere between like Deadpool and Spider-Man, but like a really good mix of those two, like it wasn't too adult, it wasn't too uh insane or anything. It was easy to like keep within normal human parameters, but he also had like this real quippiness about him, kind of like Spider-Man. So I really liked what he did with it though, because he exposed like so many so many different extremes of the character without actually feeling like you were constantly shifting from one extreme to the other.
I feel like he definitely did his homework too, because there was little callbacks in it that you can kind of connect to the events of Three Jokers, with Batman and Red Hood still having a lot of tension between them and everything. And it ended on a major cliffhanger. Like Red Hood just guns down this little kid's dad, just cold blood. Just dude, like God, I did not see that coming.
With rubber bullets, like
I think he changed the clip out.
Did he?
He had to have, because them things were going straight through him.
I mean, they did, yeah. But like, my point is, like, he shot him like point blank. Like, he's shooting him point blank with rubber bullets. Like, that's got to do some damage on its own,
Well, he took him down there. That's for sure.
Either way, like they made it pretty clear that he's dead. Whether they were real bullets or not, I don't know. But the guy was definitely dead.
And I don't know why I'm calling it stories. It was an anthology. Another one of the stories was Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, which was just a dude. It was kind of just an emotional, just friendship story. And I don't know if y'all have watched the animated series that was a DC Universe original that leans heavily into the Harley and Ivy relationship, but it kind of felt like it piggybacked off that. And while it wasn't anything to write home about, it was definitely enjoyable, especially if you followed that show and kind of understand the weight of their friendship or relationship, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I enjoyed that story as far as like quality and writing, but there was nothing comic book about it. That could have been a prose piece, and it would have been just as effective as it was as a comic. And so that was the only weird thing about it, was like there was nothing that needed to be a comic book about that story. So I don't know why they published it that way.
What felt comic booky was the outsider story.
Yes. That was like, I don't know what happened in that book, to be honest. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, but like I don't really know, like the tower's alive at one point.
That was Metamorpho. It was Metamorpho.
What's a Metamorpho?
You don't know who Metamorpho is?
No.
He's the dude from the Outsiders who has like he's like orange, purple, and he's an elemental. He can change and manipulate different elements, and any elements. He can become vapor, solid mass. And how they were looking for him, how he had been like they messed with his brain or whatever, and they were trying to like Black Lightning was chained up trying to talk to him like, I can help you, I can get you out of here. He wasn't trying to get him out of the castle. He's trying to get him out of the captivity that they had his mind under. So they basically just had Metamorpho in prison, and they were just using him as the tower, which, again, if you're familiar with Metamorpho, when you turn that page and you see it scream, you're like, oh, that was awesome. That was really cool.
Yeah, see, a lot of that was lost on me. I don't know who he is, but the story is like fun, though.
Yeah.
Like whenever they're in the boat and stuff, like all of that's awesome. Like I was loving it. I really like Katana. Like they've been crushing it with her. The Future really State Outsiders story, she was awesome in that. She was awesome in this. Like I'm really digging her, And then Black Lightning, like I didn't love or hate him in that. That's my only experience with them. And then I didn't even realize the tower was a whole nother character. I was like, why is this tower screaming? This makes no sense. But then they were in a boat, so I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
That could be the best comment tonight.
Right.
I do appreciate that. Corey rocked his Legion shirt today. I'm glad that everybody got it. Chris, you are obviously the last person for theirs to show up, but not by a long. Yours got there really fast. I'm surprised. I got this because where I was shipping it to, I got this weird notification in the tracking. It's like item out for delivery, and it was showing in Florida. I'm like, that's not right. So I've been kind of watching it, and it still was just sitting there. Or it shows that it's there.
What'd you think of the Grifter story in that anthology?
Dude, I liked it. It wasn't anything far from what we were getting in Future State. I don't know what to really expect more from Grifter. I mean, they were giving us the backstory with his brother and everything, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's definitely about to come back to haunt him. That was an intense moment when he went out there to hoorah and save him and drops instantly. That was
Yeah.
a total humbo moment. That was a humbo moment, dude. And
Right.
then he has to run out there to save him, and he gets them both killed. But he survives. His brother dies. He's living with that guilt. It established a lot to why he's such a
Mm-hmm.
just F it, just throw it all to the wind. Like he's already lost everything. And
Yeah,
I thought that was great in that aspect.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It just didn't feel like it paid off. Like whenever I was finished reading it, I was like, this just doesn't feel like, I don't know, like there wasn't quite something about it, you know. The only thing I can think of is like rereading it the second time. One thing I noticed is I don't really care for the internal dialogue they gave Grifter, because again, he feels like Red Hood, where he's like kind of a mix between like Spider-Man and Deadpool, but like almost Grifter, they did almost a little too Deadpool. He's almost, there's like these very cartoony moments in his story, and those feel a little out of universe for me. And so I
Almost like
think
he's
that's why I
always
didn't like
drunk
it.
without the bottle.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a little strange, you know. But I didn't hate it. It's just like I said, it just didn't feel quite complete. It didn't sit
Maybe
with me
that's
quite
something that
well.
they'll kind of address, because especially how Lucius is having to like make him back off because he's causing more harm than good being around in moments he doesn't feel he has to have him. Maybe they'll
Yeah.
address that about him, or I don't know. It
Yeah.
might be
Yeah,
something
because
a
like the
little
Red Hood
character
story, like
building.
it feels like a beginning and end. Like you get a whole complete story. And the Grifter story, it just felt like something didn't quite wrap up the way it needed to for me to really enjoy it. But
They just kind of cut it
I'm
on what
still
they
in.
felt was going to be a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm in for Outsiders and Red Hood for sure. And I'll see where the Grifter thing goes.
Do you think Jim is involved with the Grifter project at all? Jim being Jim Gordon?
Or
Which
Jim
Jim?
Lee.
Or Jim Lee?
Jim Lee.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's two good questions. Assuming they're talking about Jim Gordon, I don't know. He didn't really seem to have anything to do with the story, so I wouldn't think so. It
The
seems like a
Nightwing book
very
definitely does
Lucius
look
Fox
cool.
kind of thing.
Is Tom Taylor starting on Nightwing this coming week, or has he already been on Nightwing? If he's been
From
on
what I
Nightwing, I don't
understand,
know
he's
how I missed
starting.
that. Okay.
No,
Yeah,
this is
I
supposed to.
thought I
Well,
saw
I
he was
mean,
starting.
yeah, the
Lee.
6-page preview that I saw, you know, like that I read, I guess, which is really just 4 pages. It definitely seems like a jumping on point because it kind of starts with Dick Grayson as a kid in school, and there's some pretty cool stuff there. So it definitely seems like he's trying to kind of reboot or relaunch wherever Nightwing's at this point.
Yeah, they don't have Jim Lee credited in here with anything. So I don't know if he's got any kind of like overall like I don't want my character to be too far this way or that way, or I created this character to be like this,
Yeah.
and people are trying to keep him there just out of respect for their boss.
Didn't they kill Grifter off at one point? Or was it an alternate universe?
Maybe the New 52. I don't know.
Yeah.
The answer is
I remember.
probably.
Yeah, probably.
Nobody stays dead.
I thought Jim Lee just kind of collected the check for the character and then just kind of.
Dude, do
It's
y'all
all
remember when
yours,
that
boys.
happened? How cool that was when that happened? When
Oh,
they did the
yeah.
Captain Atom 12-issue series. It all started at the time. Now the book is called Batman Superman, but back in the day, it was Superman Batman was the title of it. They just flipped him. Which, to be honest, aesthetically, it works better with Batman first because Superman's a longer word. It looks like it's stacked. But anyways, even in the animated movie, when Lex is going crazy as the president, there's a big meteorite coming at Earth. In the animated movie, they had Batman fly the ship out there and crash into it and break up the meteor. In the comics, it was Captain Atom that went, and he didn't die like everyone on Earth Prime thought he did. He got blown up. The explosion kind of created like a little rift, and he just flopped into a different universe. And he woke up in the Wildstorm universe, and that's how they brought the recently acquired Jim Lee Wildstone character properties over to DC when Jim Lee came. So they did it with the Captain Atom story, and it was amazing. Alex Ross did the covers. It was his suit was awesome. That's when they did like instead of just a small atom symbol on his chest, the lines went over his whole body, and he was like golden and stuff. Dude, it was wicked. I highly recommend that story to anybody.
That's what's up.
Big elephant in the room. Ryan, tell the vet how much you enjoy the Joker as a concept.
That's the segue you're looking for? Good Lord.
Yeah.
20 minutes, everyone. Get your popcorn.
Because Ryan, I believe, just read this. He broke down and read it, right?
Yeah, I read it.
As he shot me some pictures or not long ago of some actual awesome kind of panels out of this book. They're gorgeous panels. Like writing and art are two different things. They were gorgeous panels.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yes.
for those who don't know, Ryan's not necessarily a big nothing against Joker, but he doesn't necessarily need so much Joker content.
No, yeah, I just think he's oversaturated. The Joker's a great character. I mean, don't get me wrong. And I always said that this book is probably going to be good.
I begged Ryan to go ahead and read this because I read it. I wasn't going to beg him to read it, but I read it. And I'm like, dude, I think Ryan will appreciate this. Not necessarily that they're oversaturating the Joker, but I think he'll appreciate the angle they come at this book. So he sent me those pictures. I messaged him, yes, what did you think? And he's been silent till we hit this stream.
Yeah, well, family, I had to go grocery shopping and all that jazz.
Oh, man.
No, I mean, my thoughts on it, like, it's pretty cool. I mean, they're focusing more on Jim Gordon, so that makes it more interesting. I want to see more of the relationship between Jim and Batman, and how they kind of fit together on this. It feels kind of like, I like how it reminds me of like No Country for Old Men, like Jim Gordon seems to understand like this is kind of the thing of his lifetime that he needs to do. And that could potentially mean he dies at the end because he's fulfilled his life's goal, The other option being that he moves to wherever he wanted to go, like Florida or something.
Looks like Joker beat him there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like the callbacks to his history with the Joker and stuff was really interesting. And I think it's cool that, the way that they represent the Joker and like in all of the like horror moments,
I thought it was cool because, when we were, while we were like waist deep in Future State, we were getting to play around with the idea of what the whole Infinite Frontier is going to look like with how they're kind of taking down all the barriers of continuity from 1938 to now. So we've kind of seen and this was a good example of how they're just calling back to wherever they want to call back to, because they called back to the Killing Joke handful of times in here. So that was a really cool aspect for me, who when I'm reading these books, a big angle that I go at this is I love piecing together continuity. I don't know why. It's like a maze to me inside of a book. So it was fun seeing that as well. But I thought the way that they wrote it, like I have like this classic black and white, like Humphrey Bogart private detective style movie going on. Like Jim Gordon's like inner dialogue and the way that the conversation with him and the other detective was going reminded me a lot of that old private investigator style stuff.
I can summarize it in one sentence. This week's Joker, written by JT, was better than Batman last week, written by JT.
Absolutely.
So everyone who's struggling with Batman, read this book. I thought it was all right. It's probably some of the better Tynion stuff that we've had with dealing with the franchise for DC in the last 3 or 4 issues that he's released. Now, I did enjoy some of the Batman stuff, when COVID first came out and all that, and then now the Clown Hunter stuff I haven't liked, but I thought the Joker was better than the last issue of Batman.
Definitely agree.
Yeah, I actually thought like this is, I kept complaining about how the storytelling in Batman 106 was too passive. Like this is what he was going for. This is exactly what I was saying. Like Joker had more active. It was still passive world building, but it was done in an active manner, and there seemed to be a sort of focus. And that's what I hated about 106 was we had 3 different storylines going on, but they were all being passively told, and there was nothing really taking front and center. And he gives Jim like the drive to carry the story through and make it all make sense, but we're just seeing all these things that have happened to him to lead up to this point, and I thought that was really cool.
So I wanted to take you to task, Ryan, about 106 from my initial read, and after you told me your thoughts on it. But then reading this and seeing the exact same scenario of having to set the stage for a brand new story, introduce you to your characters, put them in a setting, and get the plot moving, like it makes 106 look really bad.
Yeah.
Like it honestly does. Like having the vast. I guess I was crutched a little bit by having all the knowledge, all the little ins and out details. So it's easy to craft your own thoughts. But just looking at the book, stand alone with what it's giving to the reader, 106 was lacking in a lot of departments.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes you wonder if he was writing this at the same time and just like where he was focused shows through real obvious, or what happened, Because even
Well, this
if
we
you
know
look at
from a lot of his
editorial
indie
being
work.
involved,
it's like two different writers. If we're gonna go down that indie road, we
I was
got
gonna say,
two different writers all
if you look
together.
at his indie work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This, you can kind of compare the Joker to more easy to write. Like in his indie stuff is to write. He's got more room to write. He's not held down by the constraints of the character and the timeline that he's having to keep him in. So it might just be, Batman might just be a constrained title right now due to whatever they have coming down the pipe.
Yeah, he's too handcuffed to the universe building that has to happen with Superman and everybody else, But I don't know. It's, to me, like, I don't know. I'd rather just not have that problem, Like if it were me, I would have, done something about my Batman issue if that's how I feel, Like if I want to write my indies and the Joker, then let me do that,
The
I
more
thought
and more,
that like that's we should see less and less of, though, as we get moving into the Infinite Frontier stuff and they start being able, because I guess they're kind of soft introducing us to this open universe concept. Because we're pretty much starting on the
nothing
same
really
foot we
feels
left
different
on.
at this point.
Exactly. We kind of just starting on the same foot. It's not going to get different till we get to Superman, Batman, the next issue of that, when we're getting a Golden Age Superman, a Golden Age Batman that's all alt stuff. It's completely alternate stuff. And God, who's writing it? I was so excited when I saw who's writing it. I forget who's writing it, but Ivan Reis is doing the artwork. So they're banking on it. Like that's like, in my opinion, like their best stable artist that they have. Like his artwork is refined, modern style Neil Adams. Like it is just amazing. So to put Ivan Reis over on Batman Superman title, you're wanting people to pick it up. You're planning on doing something with it.
And please give Lee Bermeo then the covers for that title.
Can you imagine just having both of them?
Yeah, that you're right. But
there it is, Gene Wan Yang. That's a future state writer right there. So I was excited about the idea that we're getting fresh talent on it. Like that's what I think is going to really save a lot of these titles. It's just that some of these people that they brought in, like these aren't rookie writers. These aren't unqualified people. They're just unfamiliar names. And that's what we need. Like get people in here with all these ideas that they've been crafting for years, waiting for you to give them the opportunity to do this, and let them do it.
When I finished the Joker and I thought about, like, oh my God, this was just so much better than Batman 106. I kind of thought, like, I wish that when Tynion took over, that they would have relaunched Batman with a new number one and let it go from there. I get that they wanted to roll through issue 100 and milk all those covers and everything that comes with the hoopla of hitting the century mark. When a title hits the century mark, it's very important, and you want to capitalize on it as much as you can. But if they would have gave Tynion a fresh start on issue number one and let him build his own world with his own new villains the way that he wanted to, and cut the strings on him a little bit and give him a little bit of writing freedom, I wonder if we would be speaking totally different about Ghostmaker, about these characters that we've been panning. Would it be different if he would have been able to start fresh and not have to carry in what he did and quickly try and vamp it all or revamp it all the way that he wanted over a span of 10, 15 issues now? Because
that sounds like Sean Murphy's Batman,
right? Because if you look at the Joker, it was like, to me, it's just, I don't want to say two different writers altogether, but he seemed like there was freedom there that just doesn't seem to be there. At least from issue 99 to 106.
My only issue with that theory is he wasted 5 issues. Like 101 through 105 could have been him setting up all the set pieces for what was to come. And he could have hooked us so good. Like there could have been, it hurts my soul how great of a Ghostmaker, cliffhanger there was to have us waiting with bated breath for 2 months to come back to Batman and find out about this Ghostmaker guy. He squandered it all, every bit of it. And that to me shows that I don't think he really cared. He had 5 free issues to do whatever he wanted to set up the next thing. And he just was like, you'll get half an issue that builds on Ghostmaker, and the other half of this issue is just going to be total fluff. What was the point? Why wouldn't you use those 5 issues? That was your get out of jail free card. That was his chance to write 5 issues of garbage and then just be like putting all these plot strings in there that whenever we came back at 106, we would have been like, dude, like now 101 through 105 is good, but it's not. We came back to 106 and I was so disappointed how I was still disappointed in the last 5 issues.
Maybe for me, maybe it's just I'm so much of a fan of his independent work that I want Batman to work so bad. Like I don't want Batman to be something is killing the children or whatever, but I enjoy it so much that I want to love this Batman arc so much, and I can't. But again, the Joker was a good read. But yeah.
You know what else was a good read this week? Immortal Hulk.
Yeah. There hasn't been a bad one. There hasn't been a bad one. There hasn't been a bad one.
What did you think of the UFOs showing up? They've got a twisty dynamic with each other.
I haven't read that issue yet. I haven't had the time. I simply just stared at that beautiful artwork on the cover. So go ahead and spoil it for me, because I have seen some reviews.
We kind of know where it's at. The UFO showed up on them in the last issue. So this was just them you can imagine the state in which the Hulk is in. They just demolish him. It literally is just a taking turns, just beating the crap out of him. It was brutal. So you're just watching them all go at it one at a time, all the way to the point of them just reducing him pretty much to nothing, and that's where it cliffhangs us.
Yeah, I don't think we've had such a good Hulk writer in Al Ewing. We haven't had such a great writer handle the Hulk in quite a while.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
There we go.
Peter David did amazing, obviously, but that was a different era, and it was a different style Hulk. This is
right. But yeah, the Immortal Hulk has been just quietly, in my opinion, just a real good Marvel title that everyone should be paying attention to. They were terrible.
Yeah, he's talking about that Batman 101 to 105. Look, I'm gonna I might have crapped the bed with my initial assessment of 106, but I did not misjudge 105. After I read 101, I said 105 will be trash.
That's true. You called that one.
I went against the whole panel of people. I'm like, dudes, do y'all not see the writing on the wall with this one? Bruce Wayne just said that he's mad at him because he can't beat him in a fight. This guy is not a threat. He just de-threated in the first book.
Let's just talk it out.
Yeah. I'll tell you what really got me. Like they should have ended it when Clown Hunter had the gun on Harley, or the sword, or whatever he had. When that was a cliffhanger moment. But what got me is you have Batman stripped down to his cowl and his pants. So that sounds weird. Whatever. The last time we had Batman like that. The last time we had Batman like that was when he was fighting Ra's al Ghul. Neil Adams was doing the art, and at the time that art changed the name of the game. Like the way that Neil Adams drew him, it literally changed the comic art game forever, and that was a huge moment. So you're priming us.
Save the character. Yeah, you saved the character.
It's crazy. They were setting the stage. He knew what he was doing, so it was kind of like a big fu to people in a way. Like they're just gonna. That was just very disgraceful what he did, in my opinion. All right, getting back to Immortal Hulk. We can do the Batman thing forever. It's almost it's not even nice at this point. This is the weakest Hulk in a long time. I'll tell you what was cool is the fact that the leaders done made it. You think that the leaders done emerged from the place below all with like this amalgam version of himself, Banner's dad, and Rick Jones, but this shell comes up that Leonard Sampson, who's got the body of Sasquatch at this point, like he's hosting that body. He just goes up and starts going crazy on him, and he's just begging him to stop. So you find out that the leader is still in the place below all, and he has taken over the mantle of the one below all. It was insane. It was absolutely insane, and that's where Banner is stuck down there as Joe Fixit, and it ends with him saying, them looking at the leader who's like this giant-sized monster, and he looks at Joe and says, "What are you going to do?" He said, "Well, I plan on spitting in his eye, and after that, I don't know." And that's how the book ends because old Joe, he just it was really cool.
Great writing.
Bruce Jones was good. Yeah, from a physical standpoint, he is weak. I don't know what they're going to do with him, how they're going to flip it back because Banner's lost. Like so many of his personalities are lost. I'm kind of mad that they did away with the Devil Hulk. I mean, I guess it was needed to make it like a threat level in the story. If you're just going to keep the Devil Hulk around, is what are you going to do?
Yeah, I really have no idea where they're going for issue 50. Yeah. Mark misjudges everything.
Yeah, me and Steve are diametrically opposed on a lot of books. It's fun though.
He
I don't
seems to
think
be that way with a
35
lot of
is-
people.
I think 35 is definitely an exaggeration on that.
Go down 2 comments.
What are we talking about? Yes. Dude, you're going to enjoy it. I promise you.
Yeah, I have no dog in the fight on the TK Batman run, so everybody seems to want to argue. It's a very big point of contention in the Burrito Discord. Yeah, so I need to side up, I guess. So 85 issues of Batman, here I come.
There's going to definitely be things in there that you're like, yeah, he probably should have done this. I wish he would have done that. But overall, like just not necessarily always going to be on content, but just writing quality is there. People are mad about the decisions and story direction he took, not about the quality of writing.
Don't do it. It's trash.
So is Steve then a Snyder fan?
Like Dan. Okay, it's just 34 issues.
That's a good question. I don't know what Steve's stance is on Snyder.
Right.
On Snyder?
Yeah. Tell us, Steve.
On Scott Snyder.
Dude,
Scott
I think
Snyder's
he's all
Batman.
in. I'm pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steve's all in on the Snyder cut. Makes sense. He's a DC stan.
He said Scott Snyder's Batman, the new 52
Scott
Batman.
Snyder's Batman versus Tom King's Batman.
I'm pretty dude. I'm not even going to joke. Scott Snyder's Batman was the best Batman that was ever written. Almost like it's up there. And it's not necessarily because of how well he wrote. It's the story. For him, it was the story content that he went down. It was a very unique journey. Yeah, he did. They all like that's hard to carry a title like that.
I know that Snyder pissed off a lot of fans with the whole Court of Owls arc.
Dude, that was one of the best arcs he did.
I thought it was excellent. I got to be honest.
Batman scared out of his wits. What?
I thought it was excellent. Yeah.
Really? I've never heard anybody speak negatively of that. That seems to be the one consensus on Batman is that that was a great story. Yeah. Of course, I don't hang out in a lot of like Batman, Batman stuff. So who knows?
Hush was amazing.
I read Hush a long time ago. Actually,
I'll take Hush over Court of Owls any day. That's more classic, just amazing Batman. Don't at me. What's the first, Steve?
The Killing Joke.
That's up there.
For me, if we're gonna play what's the number one storyline of Batman, for me it's The Killing Joke.
And that's another kind of Gordon-centric story as well.
Yeah, they Alan Moore really ripped apart Gordon's head. I found near the end, and the whole Barbara Gordon photo shoot scene and showing pictures of his daughter being, almost assassinated, and yeah, and the Killing Joke in the end itself was actually a pretty funny joke. But anyways, the whole two lunatics escaping the asylum.
Did anyone read Rorschach this week since we're talking about Tom King?
Not me.
No.
Now,
That
have we
makes three
figured
of
out
us.
who Rorschach is yet in this?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay. No.
Yeah, well, that's part of the twist of it is it's not necessarily who Rorschach is because this is a maxi series written by Tom King with a definite ending, so it's a fantastic story. That it has a start and a stop to it, where he has a specific amount of room to craft magnificence, which he does. Mr. Miracle, Strange Adventures, Vision. But
The
anyways,
undertones in that, good lord.
no, but it's actually been really, really good. And it's a book that takes place in the Watchmen world. That's what it is. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's really a book about the fallout from what happens to regular people after the events of Watchmen. And because it's set in that world, there's a lot of wild twists and stuff so far in it. It's really cool. Boom. There's a good one.
Yeah.
Dark Knight Returns. I'm one of those weird people. Like I recognize how amazing The Dark Knight Returns is. I personally enjoy The Dark Knight Strikes Back more because the art in it is absolutely bat crap crazy. And I don't know why I thought it was cool, but the story just goes off the rails in a cool way. But yeah, it's nuts. The second one.
I don't think I've ever read that one.
It's shorter. It's only 3 volumes. But the artwork in it is insane. And Robin, you get to see her progression. She starts as Robin, then she becomes like a Catwoman sidekick for him and strikes back, and then she eventually moves on to be Batwoman all out in the Golden Child. You follow the progression of all those stories, but it's really cool. The Golden Child was a great one shot. I wish they would have done more with that. Seeing little Jonathan Kent almost like godlike level, like what? That was cool. And for those who don't know, Frank Miller's Batman world, Superman and Wonder Woman's oldest child, their daughter, is named Lara after Superman's Kryptonian mother's name. And that's where my daughter's name comes from.
Oh.
That's a deep cut.
You like that?
I have a Frank Miller story. So, a few Christmases ago, before
I like
the
when
world
you say
went up.
this.
Yeah. Do you?
I have a so-and-so story. I'm like, okay,
I have
this.
a Frank Miller
Let's
story.
do this.
Like, you don't have to prime me, but thank you.
Yeah, like.
I appreciate it.
Whew. I don't even know how to respond.
just buckle up real quick.
Wow. All right. So, all right. Well, then let me paint the picture. There I was in New York City. So a few Christmases ago, there I was in New York City.
What?
And the December 26th, yeah, I know I'm, Mr. Canada or whatever, but I actually spent a significant amount of time in the United States. I do love America. And in Canada,
don't say that too loud.
Easy. On December 26th, December 26th in Canada, it's actually a national holiday that's referred to as Boxing Day, in case anyone doesn't know, because Canada is recognized as part of the British Commonwealth. It's actually a British holiday. So to me, when I was in the United States, New York City specifically, on Boxing Day, I thought everything was going to be shut down. Boy, was I wrong. New York City was alive and well. Not that it actually, that it's the city that never sleeps. And so I decided to check out Midtown Comics, the Times Square store. So went to Times Square and, doing the touristy stuff, looking around, taking pictures. And like, well, there it is. There's Midtown Comics. So you go over there and you walk up the tight staircase that goes up to the store. And the main level when you land, Mr. Canada. That show was filmed in Canada. But so the main level is their comic books. And if you go upstairs, that's a lot of where their toys and their statues are. So when I arrived there, went upstairs to the top level, and I'm looking at all their statues, and like, wow, like I only see this kind of stuff at conventions. No store in and around the Greater Toronto area has anything to this significance. So I walked back downstairs to the main level, and it's probably about 11:15 in the morning. And I'm looking at some of the the trade paperbacks, and I decide, okay, let me see if they have Craven's Last Hunt. And I noticed there's an older gentleman dressed in black, a long black trench coat and a black hat, also looking at some Marvel stuff. And I said, "Oh, pardon me." And I reached over to pick up a Spider-Man book, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And he looked, and it was Frank Miller. So I was, I kind of fanboy out, and I don't really get starstruck around celebrities. I have a history of hosting autograph signings, so I've worked with a lot of professional athletes and celebrities that way. But because it caught me off guard so much, I just kind of stood back and thought of everything from my teenage years, my 20s, that had anything to do with Frank Miller. The Dark Knight 300. Even when he took on that he directed a film based on that 40s comic character that he kind of made into a love story.
The Spirit.
The Spirit. That was
Will
a box
Eisner creation.
Right. It was a box office flop. So I was just thinking, oh my God, here's one of the greatest writers of our time, and he's crossing into different kinds of media now. And I quietly asked him, would you mind if I had a picture with you, Mr. Miller? And he's like, yep, no problem. So took a quick picture with him, and I said, thank you so much for The Dark Knight, and thank you so much for 300. And he said, oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. And then he said, what part of Canada are you from?
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that's my Frank Miller story.
The Spirit was that wasn't the first time they made a Spirit movie. Sam Jones, Flash Gordon himself, played the Spirit in a made-for-TV movie back in the I think it was the late 80s.
Right.
Which one was better?
Definitely the one with I forget it, Gabriel Mock, the new one. It was, I don't know why he chose to do it in the color hold style like they did with 300, but it was cool. If
Sin City. Yeah.
You're talking about Sin City. I was talking about the Spirit, which was a flop. Sin City.
No. I meant I thought the Spirit was more similar to Sin City.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, it was.
It was just like Sin City. So people were expecting Sin City stuff, in which the Spirit came out in. But I enjoyed the Spirit. I definitely understand why it didn't do gangbusters at the box office at all. But Sam Jackson was phenomenal in it as the octopus. And at the end when he just stands up and grabs a grenade, you want to die, and he just punches them. Let's die, and they just blow up in that shot with it. And it was cool. It was.
Is it on HBO Max?
It might be because it was on the TU app. I know that the old made for TV one was. Yeah, you have Max now, don't you? You're primed and ready for Thursday.
Who, me?
Yeah. Have you had it?
No, yeah, I've had it. I have AT&T for my internet provider, and so
cool.
When HBO Max came out, they just included in your monthly subscription.
Yeah, that's awesome. I need to switch over then.
Disney Plus is the only one that I outright pay for. I understand I'm paying for it either way, but we had Sprint. Now they're owned by T-Mobile, but they give us Hulu, so we don't pay for that. Netflix is my mom's account. Our internet provides our HBO Max, so the only one I pay for outright is Disney Plus.
They're included with Verizon.
Oh yeah, see, I don't have Verizon, so
at least here, I don't know if they have the same deals everywhere, but I know they give you a year of Disney Plus at Verizon when it first came out.
Oh, my wife, she's an iPhone user, so we have Apple TV Plus or whatever. Because if you buy the new model of that year, they give it to you for a year. So
yeah, the Spirit's not on HBO or Netflix right now.
I
don't know where you'd find it. I think Dimension.
Dimension? Do they even exist anymore?
I don't think so. I think they might.
Them and View Askew, right? They all kind of went out at the same time.
Yeah, Weinstein kind of ruined everything that way, right?
Oh yeah, that's why they all went away, huh?
I was going to say, it's too bad he is such a, horrific human being. He put a lot of people out of work by being such a terrible human being. If you want to look at the big picture, how many people became unemployed because of
connections to him.
everything that he,
That was
It was
career
a
ending.
60.
Yeah.
The Spirit had a 60 million budget. It pulled in 39 from the box office.
Oh my god!
Ouch.
Yeah.
Major flop.
Yeah.
Didn't even break even. They don't look kindly on that at all.
Yeah. I don't know if Frank Miller's actually directed a movie since.
Not until he pays his debt. I don't know what company made it.
But what did you guys think of the Master Race then?
Dude, it was a Dark Knight
like PC
Returns Part 3.
Yeah, the Dark Knight 3, the Master Race, where he came back and he wrote it. At first, I thought it was a little bit of a cash grab, but
I enjoyed it a lot. I like all the Kryptonians getting out, and it was just cool. I just enjoy that world, that alt Batman world stuff. No, I enjoy the Sean Murphy stuff too, the White Knight Presents and all that. The White. Did you read those? They did the White Knight. What the second one was called with Azrael, where they retold that story, and Azrael literally in one issue walks through Arkham and kills everybody. Like you have no rogues left but Azrael. And the one that's out currently is called The White Knight Presents Harley Quinn, just kind of following up on her because she's been a big part of it. And they kind of twist the telling of Batman around. And Sean Murphy clearly loves Batman because he's driving around in like the Michael Keaton Batmobile in parts. And there's just so many cool little aspects. Like he pulls it out of mothballs to use it because he needs one that's not teched out. He needs one that's just straight hardware, just mechanical. And it's so many cool callbacks and stuff. But the current one, it's Sean Murphy's wife, Katana Collins, that's actually writing it with kind of just a little bit of direction from him. It's been very lackluster, but it's been kind of just a placeholder, I guess, to get us to something more. I don't think Sean could make it to write the next one currently, and they have to keep it in the limelight, keep interest in it. But overall, I highly recommend them.
Yeah. I need to check those out. I hear good things.
I don't recommend All-Star Batman from Frank Miller.
Yeah, I've been told about this. There's I
thought Jim Lee did that.
Me?
Did Jim Lee do the pencils on that?
Art in that.
Yeah, okay.
Jim Lee did the cover A's, and Frank Miller did the variant covers for him, which all the covers look great. The interior art looks great. The writing is very, very weird. It's like Frank Miller hit a point where he just transitioned from being the guy who wrote The Dark Knight to he's the guy who writes the current Frank Miller stuff that you're like, yeah, I don't know, Frank. Like Superman Year One, like Romita Jr.'s artwork in it was beautiful. It was prestige format. And this was like Romita on fire level art. And the colorist just actually complemented it so well. But the writing in it was just awkward. It was odd. It was just weird. Wasn't right.
For me, one of the worst Batman stories that I read was when they let Neil Adams do stuff there in the last, I guess, 10, 15 years with Batman Odyssey. Was it called Odyssey?
Oh, God.
I think it was Odyssey. And, oh, man, that was not so good, man. Like, just not so good. Like, Neil, I don't know if you're a storyteller, but, yeah, I think you might be a better artist than a storyteller.
He's an amateur scientist also, for hobby. And he talks on some kind of weird theories that like plate tectonic dysplasia and stuff like that, and continental drift. And it's really fun listening to some of his lectures, but I found him late in like the scientific lecture listening to part of my life. So a lot of the stuff he was saying, I'm like, dude, you should know better than this if you spend time on this. Like you're very fringe right now.
That's weird.
It is.
This is a fun topic now.
It is. A lot of people don't know about this stuff, I don't think. I don't even know how I found it. But I'm a huge fan of Neil Adams, not just as his old stuff, but him as a human being. He's an awesome, awesome person to have as a creator. Because when it comes to creators, he's the guy to know because he'll fight for you all day and all night. He's the reason why Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster didn't die of starvation. And for that, I'll be forever indebted to him. I think that's the coolest thing ever. He's the reason they were able to sit at the premiere of Superman the movie. He's a
he
retard whenever
got them
you're
a pension. Yeah. I think most of us have seen some of those stories when Neil Adams stepped up, and even like put his own career in jeopardy because he was trying to champion these two senior citizen men who were like, one of them was almost on Skid Row, and fought for them to get a pension and to get some recognition as a creator of
the
arguably
greatest superhero that
the
ever
most
existed.
important superhero that was ever made. Yeah. And so you're exactly right. Like, we should all be indebted to the man for not shying away from, like, even today with his Twitter account. Like, he's all over the map for different social causes. Like, like I said, Batman Odyssey was not good, but he's a terrific human being.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells
He's
great dirty jokes.
I guess Todd McFarlane would be a good comparison for like the next generation, who kind of just champions creators real heavily, and like he's another great guy. So we got one, you got one.
I guess we're keeping a tally on morality now.
Yeah, morality, country of origin. But all right, guys, it's about getting close to 11 o'clock here, and I don't even know what time my body thinks it is at this point. I'm talking to people in different time zones, and the clock changed on me.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was time change. This morning I was just like, why is it so weird? What's wrong? For like the whole first 2 hours of the day, I was like, something's not right. I don't know what it is. And then like I went and looked at the stove, and the time was different from my phone, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's time to spring forward.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. What do you have coming up on your channel, Chris?
Today I just filmed video for tomorrow for Mystery Box Monday. I'm opening up, surprise, surprise, the torpedo box, and everyone please check it out. You'll see if I hit another grand prize or not. And and
do you need help?
Yeah. And also filmed another quick video talking about an ASM Grail that I picked up recently. So I'll be releasing that some point later this week. And Wednesday, of course, is New Comic Book Day. And for those that don't know, Mark and I do a weekly collab where we talk about just one hot pick that we feel everyone should consider picking up the upcoming New Comic Book Day. I released it this morning on my channel, and Mark's very kind enough to let me host two cool guys, two hot picks. Please check it out. It's actually this week I really felt Mark and I are really hitting a groove on how we're setting this video up, this ongoing thing. God willing, it lasts forever. But yeah, so that's me, Mark, and thanks for letting me speak, brother. And hope to be back next Sunday to talk about, Justice League and Falcon Winter Soldier.
So that's like a legit quote from the book, Ryan.
Yeah, that's what I knew was out there. Because I was like, somebody told me that there's something specific about that book that like stands out above all the rest of the dumpster fire around it.
The line. The kid's parents just get killed, and he essentially kidnaps before the cops can get him. And he's sitting there crying in shock in the passenger seat of the Batmobile, and he makes a mistake of saying, "Who are you?" to Batman, and that's the response he gets.
Oh my god!
Retarded.
That sounds like the worst thing ever.
Yeah, Frank. So that's I don't know, Frank, that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But Matthew,
maybe reel it in a little bit.
Yeah. We don't say those things anymore. Yeah. We don't use that kind of language. Yeah.
Frank, you've been in your house for way too long. You gotta hit the chops more often, buddy.
Right.
Get on the internet.
Man, I feel like a content mill. I had a video drop Thursday, the DC Future State review that I did with Legion of Comics here and Steve. So check that out. The best version's on my channel, of course. That was Thursday. Friday, I dropped my new comic book day picks. So that's out there. And then Saturday, I dropped my first channel update. Today, I dropped a trailer. And then on Tuesday, the full video will be available that trailer hypes up. So plenty of stuff going on. And then Thursday, I'll have another new comic book day. So always plenty. Just stick around.
Well, good stuff.
What do you got coming up, Mark?
It got really crazy in that book. What's today? Sunday. So tomorrow I'll have a mail call video. I've had a lot of stuff coming in the past couple of weeks. I hadn't had a chance to put up, so I kind of sporadically pick stuff from. I got some original art that I had a guy on Instagram make for me and the entire family. I won a prize from Whack Comics on their 24-hour live stream, as well as a couple of local pickups. So all that I included in one video that'll be coming up tomorrow. Then Tuesday, I try to do a middle of the day live chat around lunchtime, kind of late lunchtime. And I'm think Justin from Justin Comics will be able to join me this time for that. He's not here tonight. He's normally with us on Sunday nights, but he's got stuff going on tonight. But he thinks he might be able to hang out for that one, so that'll be cool. And then Wednesday, Thursday, don't know what I'll do. Friday might do one of those 7 a.m. live streams. I'm gonna check, see what Tyler from Whack Comics is up to. He normally getting off work. So that's kind of fun. Then every Saturday is my new comic book day video. Every Sunday is that week's end. We will be talking all kinds of Snyder Cut from Thursday moving forward. Oh, Friday I might try to just put up a little, just a straight up, what did I think of it? I mean, I don't do editing, so it'd be like the worst review video ever. I don't know how that even works. Just y'all just want to hear me rant. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do this week. I'm just full of emotions right now.
Are you doing your DC comic haul on Tuesday?
Yeah, every Tuesday.
We should talk All-Star Superman then.
Oh, that would be perfect time.
Yeah, that'll give me a couple days to go back through it and really process some more of it, and then you can talk about the new books you picked up, and then we'll talk about a DC beloved title.
Yeah, and one thing, I'll talk to you about that later. I want to try to put together some kind of video series, because I have a Saturday and Sunday. I have the new comic day video in the show. Tuesday is the show. And then Friday, I try to do a live show too, because I just enjoy hanging out and talking to people. But Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday is just random. So I want to at least try to plug one of those days with something. But it's going to have to involve what we're doing right now. So the best thing I could think of, just use All-Star Superman. If I can just talk to enough people that read famous back issue stuff, like the first time somebody reads Kingdom Come, just do a 15, 20-minute hangout, talk with them on Kingdom Come. The first time you read All-Star, just do a 15, 20-minute recorded hangout, and then just post up a back issue deep dive, spotlighting this book or that book or this story. I think that's a
great idea.
Because it's still doing exactly what I want to do, just talking comics. So it's the exact same thing, but it's just a little bit of a format to it. And I only have to do 4 months to cover a whole month. Well, 5 once in a while. We're not talking about leap year. We're going to leave that away.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to do then. Time changes, leap years, that you lose me. Fix the calendar. But
yes, because if time zones weren't already screwing me over enough.
Yeah. Time's relative. It's all a joke.
I'd love to do a deep dive on the Killing Joke now that you mentioned that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
So basically, I just want to reach out to people and just say, let's try to read this book in the next week or two, and then we'll record a video at the end of it, so it's kind of refreshed in our minds and stuff like that. Like Ryan, since you told me you're reading that, I'm on issue 4. I decided to just read it at bed and get through an issue or two because I read it when it came out. You know what I mean? That's how long it's been for me. It hit shelves the same time All-Star Batman and Robin did. Those,
that's
boom,
crazy.
went up at the same time.
I always would have assumed. Well, yeah, I always assumed that All-Star Superman was kind of the progenitor of that, and then they were like, well, if people liked All-Star Superman, let's do All-Star Batman and let's do All-Star this and that, That's kind of how I assumed it played out.
No.
Who was the writer again? Was it Quitely?
Frank Quitely did the art.
Frank Quitely did All-Star Superman.
You know what I mean? It's Grant Morrison. So
it's Grant Morrison?
We're up there.
Shoes to fill.
Yeah. So speaking of
but they
Morrison,
did the Spider-Man life story thing or whatever, and now they're announcing all those. Yeah.
But catch, they're doing the Fantastic Four life story, but Chip Zdarsky isn't writing it. So what's the point?
But that's what I'm saying. That's kind of how I thought All-Star whatever happened. Was
Yeah,
like, there's
kinda
an
the same
amazing
thing.
one that knocks it out of the park, and then they're just like, everybody should be doing these.
But there wasn't a huge time gap like there is on Life Story and Fantastic Four. Like
Yeah.
they're still selling trades for Life Story. They're still selling that book. So they want to just people are just going to go buy. Oh, Life Story. This is going to be the same thing. No, it's not. It's all in the writer.
Yeah.
But yeah, Grant Morrison's Green Lantern season 2 just wrapped up. That he did a lot of the work. And this is an artist that's just been all in my crosshairs. But Liam Sharp is a fantastic artist. Liam Sharp is amazing, and he did a lot of the artwork on that. And I've been waiting on it to wrap up. I don't know why I didn't decide to pick it up individual issues, but I've got the first hardback or first collection. I don't know if they ordered me the hardback or softback. Don't know. Either way, I've got that coming soon, so that's going to be something I'm going to want to.
That's the artist on your Batman Reptilian.
Yeah, that's yeah. Did you see those internal did you see that art? Did you?
Oh yeah, the art was insane.
Insane.
So, yeah, it was next level, man.
Dude, if you tell me that they're going to make a Batman book about him chasing a little person carrying balloons that just robbed the pudding factory, I'm like, man, that sounds crazy. They're like, wait, Garth Ennis is writing it with Liam Sharp. I'm like, well, dude, it's got to be good. There's no way that's going to be bad.
Ask and you shall receive, man.
Yeah. But in all sincerity, I think the reptilian thing, like they're saying, like the way that I read it, like Batman's facing a new villain. I think it's going to just be telling a story of the first time he comes in contact with Killer Croc.
Yeah, if it's like a Killer Croc origin story, that'll be a little bit better, but I don't know. It's a weird press release, you know. Of all the things that the market was waiting on was another Batman with another new character. Like that's just what the market's looking for right now.
Like I said, I don't think it's going to be a brand new character. I think it's just going to be Croc. But people like me have been waiting for another Batman title because there's normally always a very short miniseries on the Black Label end of things. There's at least one Batman title running between Joker, Killer Smile, Batman Damned.
That's pretty much all that's over there.
But there's nothing right now. Well, we've had The Question. You've had a lot of stuff from the Sandman universe.
Hellblazer.
Hellblazer. Yeah, the Hellblazer
Joker
book
Harley.
was great. Joker Harley.
Wasn't the Superman one.
Constantine, The Question.
Actually, Constantine was actually really good.
Really good. Wonder Woman Death by Dana Warren Johnson.
Yeah.
Was that Black Label?
Yes, it was even press format. You had Dana Warren Johnson in an oversized format.
No. I mean, my question isn't like, was it Black Label quality? My question is, wasn't that before Black Label? I thought that was before they established it.
No, the first Black Label book was Batman Damned.
Oh, really? I guess yeah. So that would have been before.
They even
controversial.
retconned a few things. Yeah, they even Batwang. Yeah, they even retconned the book because you know that Batman Damned was a follow up to Liber Mayho and whatever the guy who writes it. It was a follow up to their Joker. So if you go back and buy the hardcover for Joker, it's got Black Label on it. When it was released originally, it wasn't Black Label. Like my Joker stuff is not Black Label. But everything that's on the shelves now does have it. But yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here, man.
Peace.
Now it is 11.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys. And I appreciate everyone stopping by in the chat. As always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.